Episode 199, How to Prevent Burnout.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
Almost 200 folks. Welcome to the very best podcast in the world, your only source in the universe for personal supremacy through health, wealth, and happiness. Now, burnout is something I never really understood. And here's why. My life's been this constant spin of, this roller coaster ride. Let's put it that way. It's had its up and downs, and look at it. Look at the long-term chart of a stock or a share. And you'll see that there are ups and downs, but generally it goes up, and that's how my life has always been. It's been chaotic. I learned loads by frequently changing professions. Frequently changing hobbies, frequently changing pretty much anything that was there. Although, I always had my center of gravity, if you will, which has been my family. And burnout for me was this abstract concept of a first world problem, right? And the more in the better position the person that said they had burnout was, the more I thought of them as loony. And then something interesting happened. I was on a project, and there was this lady who I met, and we became friendly. And she said that, she had just come down or had returned to work because she had a burnout. And due to the fact that we were quite friendly, we interchanged a lot of thoughts, and she, in particular, because she was an attorney by trade, but she was working for the company in their legal department. She had 3 kids and raised them well, obviously, and was happily married for a number of years. And was a professional, more or less professional tennis player on the side. She was living the dream. She was living in a great house, with everything that life could give you. She was healthy, beside the burnout, and a variety of other things where you just slap your hands over your head and say, how in the hell can you get burnout? And as I said, for me, this was always this abstract concept. So anyhow, many years later, I came across this quote unquote strategy, which we're going to be discussing today. It's called the 3 R's strategy. But before we get in there, let's do the housekeeping bit. Number 1, thoughts my own, yada. Number 2, sharing is caring. If you know someone that's, suffering from burnout, for instance, share this episode with them. Maybe it's a trigger to get professional help. And if you've been totally blown by this episode, share it with the world through your social media channels of choice. Much appreciated. Not as much by me, but, maybe by the people that you're helping with this. Keep that in mind. I can blab into the microphone, into a void, whatever. And, at the end of the day, nothing happens. But the more people you share this with, the more people will, kind of appreciate this show. So in that sense, that being said, the 3 R's strategy, I didn't analyze it. Nor am I a psychologist. I've got ample training, But, I never really qualified for anything to call myself that. I have a very thorough understanding, but not more than that. So if you think that, after listening to this, maybe you want to change something, you're attempting to go down the burnout cycle, and this show kind of, triggers your, well, not necessarily triggers, but the solution approaches, there we go, that we have in here, make you want to seek professional help because they're not really packing the gear to get you out of it. Do so, please. This is an appeal, a very important one. From what I heard, there's no way, or it's very difficult. Let's put it that way. It's very difficult to get out of it by yourself, on your own. So seek professional help, please. So, there we go. R1, the relationships, which, kind of boils down to that you need to have family and friends time. No, to prioritize family and friends time in your calendar first, period. Anything that comes after that, be it business appointments, meetings, be it anything else that you do, your hobbies or whatever. You want to put them second, third, or 1,000th, whatever. Family and friends come first. Relationships matter. And that's insanely important to keep in mind, because there's nothing more valuable than family. There's nothing, as reliable than family and friends to get your back, to have your back, or rather, in a sense where you can feel protected. You've got your second line of defense, against all and anything external influence. So relationships are insanely important, and call your friends regularly. It's like, stay in touch with them. Give them a call, see how they're doing, see if they need help. How can you help people? That's like really an important question to ask everyone that you have around you. R2, or the second segment, is recovery. This doesn't mean, like recovery backup, which was the first thing that came to my mind. No, it's time to wind down at the end of the day. We discussed yesterday the morning routine and how to maximize that. And, this ironically is a very important part of the day, so stop working 2 hours before bedtime, to allow yourself to wind down, calm down, and so on and so forth, right? Because it's more of a process than you may think. There are those, like my better half. As soon as she goes to bed, she's gone. And I've got the same thing because I have a few techniques that I use to fall asleep quickly. But I'll wake up frequently out of this, going to sleep routine, and taking my notebook and writing down about a gazillion things which I want to do the next day, or which may not slip my mind. And that's okay during this time. This is about, watching action movies or series, binging Netflix for an hour or two before you go to bed. That's not really winding down. It's about, whatever suits your fancy. Having a glass of whiskey or whatever, just sitting in a chair, contemplating, reflecting on the day, journaling, contemplating your thoughts of the day, your achievements, what you can improve, and so on and so forth. It's you time. That's what's really important. R3, or the third part, the third R in that sense, is rest. Schedule the sleep you need every single night. And if you're like me, I don't have a regular sleep cycle, right? More often than not, I'll go to bed at 3, and then get up if my better half leaves the house, just to make sure that she leaves the house safely, has everything on her, to get a good start into the day. And then I'll go back to bed for a few hours and then wake up at around 11 and then, start from there. However, I need my 6 to 7 hours of sleep per day, and I get those, despite the fact that they're not interconnected. They're not consecutive. They're interrupted by about an hour or two. And after that, I'll get the rest of my sleep. But it works for me, and that's what's really insanely important. I know a lot of you are going to be stuck in this 9 to 5 thing. So the repetitiveness of this resting cycle, resting routine is insanely important to maintain. And I know a lot of you fail. And so do I, really, a lot of times. But, since I've started taking time on how much I actually sleep, I figured out that, I'm doing better now because I've adjusted a lot of stuff in my life. So much, though, for the 3 R's strategy, which was, R1 was a relationship, the relationships we have to look out for, friends, family, and the calendar. R2 was a recovery phase. During the day, it was stop working 2 hours before bedtime and allow yourself to wind down. And R3 is the resting phase, where you schedule the sleep you need every single night. I hope, that that's going to take the edge off for you and prevent you from going down that obviously very devious spiral. There are, of course, other letters in the alphabet that you can use to get out of it, which is, changes to your life and not, doing the same thing for 45 years until you retire and then contemplate what the hell did I do with my life. But we're going to talk about that another time. So in that sense, may these 3 R's help you prevent burnout. Again, an appeal to all of you. If you feel that you're going down this burnout spiral, seek professional help. It's there and it works. I've seen it on this person that I introduced the show with. And in that sense, I hope you have a good rest of your Thursday. And if you've already had that, have a good night. And we'll be in touch tomorrow for Exercise Friday. We're going to talk about positivity. See you, folks. Bye-bye.